All right, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle a really profound philosophical problem today, drawn from a classic reading of the Qur'an. Here's the question. How can you possibly be judged for an action that happened in the past, something that doesn't even exist anymore? It sounds like a paradox, right? Well, this ancient argument offers a truly fascinating way out.
So here's our roadmap. We'll start with the paradox itself. Then we'll get into the core solution, this wild idea that our deeds become physically real. From there, we'll see how sin gets framed as basically a bad business deal. And that leads to a stunning conclusion, that you are your own judgment. We'll wrap it all up with a final thought on memory and reality.
Okay, so this is the absolute heart of the matter. Think about it. Our actions happen in a moment, and then, poof, they're gone. They cease to exist. So how can there be any real accountability for something that's vanished? It feels like a total logical contradiction, and that's exactly where this entire analysis kicks off. Right, so first section, the resurrection paradox. We're tackling this foundational challenge head-on. How in the world do you judge something that has completely vanished into the past?
You know, what's so powerful about this text is that the author doesn't dance around the problem. The whole discussion is framed by this direct, unflinching look at the conflict between a fleeting past action and an eternal future judgment. And this shows us we're not dealing with some minor theological detail. No way. This is a deep, philosophical question about the nature of reality, time, and justice. The text makes it crystal clear. If you can't solve this puzzle, the whole idea of accountability falls apart. So how does the text solve this massive problem? Well, this is where things get really interesting. It introduces a radical concept that unlocks the entire argument. Our deeds don't disappear. They become embodied. They become physically real.
And here it is, the key to the whole thing. The author's solution is found in this core concept, tajassum al-amal. The idea is that our deeds don't just vanish into thin air. They transform. They actually take on a real, substantive form.
So let's break that down. What does tajassum al-amal actually mean? Well, it suggests that our actions, whether they're good or bad, aren't just these fleeting moments in time. They actually become concrete, embodied realities, literally the building blocks of our afterlife.
Now, to really get this, the text makes a crucial distinction. There's a fi'l, which is just an action, a motion that starts and ends. It's temporary. But then there's an amal, a deed. That's what's left behind. The analogy here is perfect. The fi'l is the motion of the sculptor's hand, but the amal is the sculpture itself. It persists.
And listen, this isn't just philosophy. The text grounds this whole argument in Scripture. It points to verses like this one, which says our own hands and feet will testify against us. I mean, how could they do that unless our actions left a real, permanent trace on them?
Okay, so if our deeds become real, tangible things, then what about our bad deeds? What about sin? This is where the analysis gets even more interesting. It's seen not as a simple mistake, but as a flawed, deceptive transaction, with Satan playing the role of the broker. The argument gets incredibly specific here. It's not just about that we do wrong, but how. The text portrays sin as a conscious exchange, a moment where we willingly, knowingly trade something of infinite value for something that is, in the end, completely and utterly worthless. The source actually breaks this down into 4 clear steps, like a business deal gone horribly wrong. Step 1, you possess something real and valuable, your faith, your pure nature. Step 2, Satan presents a deceptive substitute. Step 3, you make the trade. And the result, step 4, a net loss. A total loss, actually, because what you got in return was just an illusion.
And this whole idea hinges on a very specific legal term, gharar. In Islamic commercial law, gharar refers to a fraudulent transaction, one filled with risk and deception where what you're buying is an illusion. So this reframes sin, not just as a moral failing, but as a kind of spiritual fraud that we commit against our own souls.
So you see how this is all building up, right? Deeds become real, sins are bad trades, and this entire line of reasoning leads to the argument's most stunning, most mind-blowing conclusion. Judgment isn't something that happens to you, it's something you are. I mean, this just completely reframes the whole concept of the afterlife. The source explains that heaven and hell aren't places you go to. No, they are the final, unveiled manifestations of the self that you, yourself, have built, one embodied deed at a time.
The author is so blunt about this. First, they challenge the common idea, just flat out saying it. Hell is not a place you are sent to.
It is the reality you become. It's the final form of a self that's been constructed out of all those embodied deeds, all those fraudulent transactions. You don't go to hell. You are hell.
And that's the ultimate point. Accountability isn't some sentence read out by a judge in a courtroom. It's just the simple, unavoidable unveiling of what you have built yourself into. The self is the judgment. The self is the book of deeds.
And the text leaves us with one final crucial piece to this puzzle. It draws this powerful contrast between our own tendency to forget and the perfect, unwavering memory of the divine. The author anchors this entire complex argument with this one powerful verse from Surah Maryam. See, we may forget the deeds we sent out into the world. They might seem lost to the past to us, but they are never lost to reality. They are recorded, they are embodied, and ultimately, as the text argues, they are us.
So this leaves us with a final, really provocative question to think about. If this whole analysis is right, if every single choice we make is another building block for our eternal self, then the real question isn't just what you do today, but who or what are you building?